Here's a prime example of why you don't listen to what they say, but you got to follow what they do. A few years ago, Larry Fink wasn't interested in Bitcoin, saying no. Now they're all in. Pay attention.
But I think about most of these cryptocurrencies, it just identifies how much money laundering there is being done in the world.
Is it true that you're building out a cryptocurrency capability?
No.
Don't your clients want crypto exposure?
No, I don't believe any client has sought out crypto exposure.
Really?
Yes. I'm encouraged by how many people are focusing on it. I'm encouraged about the narrative, but I don't believe we should think about crypto as a substitute of currency. But I am fascinated by it as an asset class.
Specifically on Bitcoin, we're a believer in digitization of products, and we do believe it could revolutionize finance. It's digitizing gold in many ways as a hedge against inflation, a hedge against the devaluation of your currency.
And with that, what's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you to the cryptocurrency video. You just heard from Larry Fink, and we've been telling you, don't listen to what the elites say, what the big boys say. Just follow their actions and follow what they do. They've been buying for some time now, but we'll get into that later on in this video. But we got a jam-packed video for you today, so make sure you watch this one to the end. Getting straight into it and continuing. If you aren't buying Bitcoin, you are exchanging a weak form of money to a stronger form of money. When exchanging $1 for 4 quarters, you aren't buying the 4 quarters, you're making an exchange. Now go make that exchange from weak to strong. So what this is showing us here, the purchasing power of the consumer dollar has just been going down and to the right, falling off a cliff. But it's inversely correlated when it comes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been just going up and to the right. As you see, we're going through an adoption curve. Another update from Joe Burnett. Most humans are not investing today. They are attempting to save for the future by owning a diversified portfolio of bonds, equities, and real estate. This is the old way to do things. Now, things will start to be replaced with Bitcoin. As the Sharpe ratio will continue to be higher, this has huge implications. Real estate, bonds, equities, almost every investable asset across the globe will end up being denominated in Bitcoin. This is just the beginning. We hope you're prepared. And then, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance, we've showed you this time and time again. As you see what the Bitcoin dominance does on the weekly, you see the RSI comes out and it gets overbought, has a retracement, and then comes back up and then makes a higher high. And right now we're in overbought territory. Could we have that retracement, a little bit of pullback before we come up and test this upward downwards resistance level? Could Bitcoin be going up to this 55 to 60% threshold? That could be what's in the cards. Taking a closer look at the Bitcoin price chart at the current time it's recording, we're coming in at 30.1K, and you see we're just stair stepping up and to the right. Nothing's changed. Weekly still called. Weekly long still called. We're waiting for that blast up to the upside, but Bitcoin is showing a weekly bearish divergence. Matthew Hyland highlighted this as you see the price action here, put in a high, a low, then a higher high, but then the RSI put in a high and then a lower high. This is textbook bearish divergence, meaning that Bitcoin's price action could have some pullback. So if we look back to the Bitcoin price and we zoom into the current price action, how far could we pull back if we see this? This is on the weekly. Let's get rid of these EMA ribbons. And if you see here, this 200 moving average at the current time this recording is all the way down to around 27,000. Could Bitcoin come back down and still be in an uptrend? The answer is yes. You see this is the level right here we got to pay attention to, the 24/7 level. This area right here, Bitcoin has to hold this. Now we could come back down and once again come back and actually retest this moving average when this moving average comes up, and then we could actually break this support line that has been acting as support. We bounced off it, had this huge wick here, kissed this before having that continuation to the upside. That's what Bitcoin could do. This ultimately forms another double bottom, W shape, blast off up and to the right. This is all bullish for Bitcoin. Another update, Jim Cramer is warning investors against Bitcoin. Now, you know that there's this inverse Cramer rule. So if Jim Cramer's bullish, sell. If Jim Cramer's bearish, buy. So if this is the case, he's warned against investing. We hope you're buying. And then another update, looking at the DXY, you see here that we have this macro DXY chart. And this sort of looks like this is inversely correlated to Bitcoin, because as the DXY falls, Bitcoin blasts up. Bitcoin did a 10x here, Bitcoin did a 7x here, and look where we're at. We came up and actually the DXY got extremely overbought, extremely overbought. And as you see, 10x, 7x, and right now it's been consolidating in this wedge pattern, and this is definitely a bearish pattern for the dollar. A, B, C, D, E. After that E leg, you have that breakdown. Now, how high will Bitcoin go here? Will Bitcoin do a 4 to 6x? Because as you see, this is a 10x, then a 7x, so there was a little bit less as far as the return goes. So 4 to 6 from where Bitcoin is right now, that takes Bitcoin up to at least $120,000. A 6x would take it up to $180,000. But all in all, this would definitely make Bitcoin extremely bullish. Will the BlackRock ETF be what causes this macro bull run, and will it happen this quick before 2024 is out? Time will definitely tell. With the dollar facing downwards pressure, what's happening to mortgage loan rates? 30-year right now in the US is around 8%. 8%. What does this mean? This means that your dollar is losing purchasing power with that downward sell pressure we just looked at. And because the dollar is falling, hard assets such as real estate are rising in price and interest rates are going up, making it harder to obtain those assets. Because before COVID, this was around 2-3%. Another 5% makes this almost unattainable for a middle-class home in America. Bitcoin is the only thing that can outpace this. We hope you're diversified appropriately. As you see this here, the dollar's purchasing power has just been falling off a cliff. We like this. It shows George Washington looking, sort of getting like, what's going on? A bomb starts to blow, but then what happens? As it falls off a cliff, Bitcoin then comes up out the ashes, and it sort of saves the day. But you see, Bitcoin continues to go up and up and up to the right. This is what's going on present day. Hold on for dear life. And then people are saying, what is Bitcoin backed by? This is a funny meme here. What are you backed by? He's like, I am not backed by anything. I am the one who backs everything. So this is where Bitcoin is going. Bitcoin's going to back real estate, stock, any type of hard asset. Bitcoin, it's going to be Bitcoin denominated. The powers that be are going to fight this. They don't want this. They don't want to lose their purchasing power, but they're going to have no choice but to convert over because the dollar is not going to be worth anything. And then another update from Satoshi Flipper. We could have a Bitcoin spot ETF approval by the SEC as early as August. That's next month. I asked, is Bitcoin really going to unprice the entire rumor right before an approval by retracing back to 25,000? We showed you this in the charts. We showed you this in the charts that Bitcoin could have this retracement back down to these lower levels. The level to find, the lower range to this is 24.7. It could actually come down to 25,000 and still technically put in a higher low before ultimately having that blast off. This will give the institutions and the big boys cheaper Bitcoin prices. Keep this in mind. And we'll leave you with this. Most people on earth today still don't know that Bitcoin is the best performing asset in the history of the world. That all changes once a US-based Bitcoin spot ETF is approved. The world is going to see firsthand how the ETF trounces everything else that trades. What he's also saying here is once it becomes clear that Bitcoin is designed to and does in fact outperform every other dollar-denominated asset over a 4-year period, a portion of all that money in stocks, bonds, gold, real estate, etc. is going to flow into Bitcoin. All these guys know this and they're buying right now. Look at BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, Invesco, Bank of America, and this is $27 trillion of total investable assets. So keep this in mind. Back to what he was talking about, Bitcoin experienced an extraordinary gain over a 10-year period. So basically, if you bought $1 of Bitcoin in January of 21, that $1 would now be worth around $60,000. And you can in this percentage gain, you can see that this is almost a 6 million % gain. So basically, that's over a 10-year window from 2011 to 2021. What's going to happen over the next 10 years? It's a highly probable chance that the spot ETF is going to get passed within the next 12 months. Could happen as soon as August. It could happen over the next year. But all in all, Bitcoin is that one asset that is going to outpace everything as monetary debasement continues to erode your purchasing power. And with that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. If you guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.